Every man forgets things he would like to remember. But when the little lapses seem to mount up, they add another dimension, worry about losing it, about severe mental impairment and Alzheimer's disease. Every part of the body changes over time and the brain is no exception. Although this happens at different rate for different people, average brain shrinks by about 10% during maturity and the brain cells do die as people age. To understand how to deal with the Alzheimer's patients, today in conversation we have neurophysician and founder of an Alzheimer support group and caregivers of Alzheimer patients. And we also have few patients who have been struck with this disease. How do we locate such patients?
Yeah, location of these patients to us as support groups of Alzheimer, invariably the doctors who have diagnosed recommend the patient to come to us so that they can cope. So there's a lot of counseling to be done. Counseling to the people to cope with an Alzheimer disease, counseling to the Alzheimer patient that, okay, this has happened to you, but try working and trying to cope with your own life till you can. When the downslide begins and you cannot control the disease, then nothing can be done. So it's very important that when we do locate these patients, invariably their people come to us. Invariably doctors who are handling these patients recommend that if you want some counseling, if you're not prepared for this disease, then go to this society which looks after the needs of Alzheimer patients.
Once they are located, then what is the responsibility of society towards them?
The responsibility is much more than we think it is. First of all, let me give you a very small example. One of our patients, she was still cooking even after she had got Alzheimer, and to some extent the family members knew she had Alzheimer, and one day she forgot to put salt in the food. When it was brought to the table, everybody said, "Oh my God, there's no salt, what's happened?" Instead of saying, okay, let's all take some salt, the patient broke down and started weeping copiously, saying, I had put salt, but somebody has removed it. So it's very important for the society to understand that this personality change is because of the disease and not because that person has become stupid or mad. In old days, people treated all Alzheimer patients as mad. But today, since science has been able to pinpoint what is wrong with the person, it's the society requires to take care of such people in two ways. One is being more considerate to a person who has Alzheimer. Secondly, being supportive to the people who look after the Alzheimer patient. That is very important, because even the people who look after Alzheimer patients become isolated. Nobody wants to go to their house and look at a stupid person, as they say. But it's very important to keep up the morale and hope of the caregivers.
So first we have to find out 2-3 points with what they are comfortable. Sometimes what happens is with the Alzheimer patient, if one or two things are there which really upsets them, so try to avoid that thing. Yeah. So if you avoid those things, they are comfortable, and try to remove. From first only, I've got 2 children small, so my house was child-proof only. So all the locks are there and all that. So I see to it, the gas, the knives and all are properly this thing. So if they are out of reach from them, everything is proper. Now the time has come when I leave them alone also at night if I have to go for a movie or something, party, and they are okay. Only thing I don't tell them anything. Okay, where I am going, or then they get confused. You are going. It's better not to tell them. They are okay inside. I lock the door so they can't go anywhere. And all the dangerous things I remove from the way. So they are okay.
Fortunately, आज खूप early stage मध्ये यांची कंडिशन असल्यामुळे आम्हाला फार प्रॉब्लेम्स आता तरी काही जाणवत नाहीत, पण कंटिन्युअसली त्यांच्यावरती लक्ष ठेवणं किंवा कोणतरी त्यांच्याबरोबर असणं हे आता जाणवायला लागलेलं आहे.
Now, for instance, if she starts walking by herself, there should be somebody to accompany her. Like steps and all that, she may miss a step. So otherwise, if she's sitting quietly on the chair as she was, normally she doesn't require anybody to attend to her all the time. But you have to have an eye on her because she may suddenly get up, stand up and start walking. And then she may lose her balance, she may lose her bearings.
तो उनके पीछे कैसा है कि कंटिन्यू एक बच्चा ही रखना पड़ता हम लोगों को कि वो चलते वक्त अगर गिर जाए कुछ हो जाए तो एक बच्चा अगर बाजार में निकले तो बाजार में निकलने के बाद में उनके पीछे एक लड़के को रखना पड़ता.
Of course, to make everything in the house like very simple so that they would never stumble, they will never fall or something of that kind. And then we were the whole time trying not to leave her isolated. But always to try to communicate with her and helping her so that she could express what she wanted to express.
What treatment is necessary?
As yet, there is no cure for Alzheimer's disease, though a lot of research in this particular field is occurring because of the large number of people involved, large costs involved, so much social and economic hardship which occurs. So, there is no single drug today which can cure the disease. But like that, there are so many other diseases which there is no permanent cure. But certainly, one can ameliorate the symptoms to a large extent by counseling, by taking proper care. And now there are certain group of drugs which increase the acetylcholine level in the blood, and they halt the progress of the disease and make life more easy for a period of time. And some cases of Alzheimer's disease, and especially some variants of Alzheimer's disease, there is a dramatic change in their behavior and their functioning with the drug therapy. One of the drugs is the rivastigmine, which improves memory to some extent, improves activities of daily living, and even if small gains are made, it is very important for the patient and his family. So, in conclusion, though there is no cure, there are certain drugs which can help to improve and stabilize the condition for a short time in order to buy time.
Yes, that's a very important part because medicine does something for them up to a level. After that, it is care and only care which has to be given to the Alzheimer patient. Now let us take a little child. The child keeps growing up and gradually starts performing jobs which you don't have to perform. In an Alzheimer patient, exactly the reverse happens. Day by day, as the faculties are not able to cope with some things, you require to continuously help them to do it. A man, as the doctor just said, cannot even button his shirt. Now buttoning that shirt becomes a chore which you require to do, and you're impatient with an adult because you think till yesterday he was buttoning his shirt, what has happened to him today? So you require to give them a lot of care.
Can these patients come back?
Alzheimer is not yet curable.
Today, it has happened with Mr. and Mrs. Nalawade. Tomorrow it can happen to me, my parents, or even to you. So what precautions should be taken to avoid?
There is no method in which one can totally prevent the disease. If it's going to occur, it's going to occur. Now, there are some unsubstantiated reports to say that the more you use your brain, the less likely you are to lose it. So, one of the messages would be to keep active, to keep your brain functioning. I would say do not ever retire from life. Keep your brain active, and maybe you can take up a hobby or use other parts of the brain which you are not using in your day-to-day life. So develop other skills, develop other aptitudes, and maybe you would be able to delay the onset of the disease. So that delay may be very important for you. So even if you can delay it by 5 years or 10 years, you have bought so much time to carry on your life at the age of 60 or 70. 10 years is a lot of time. So keep active, use your brain for other activities, develop other skills, and maybe you can delay the onset of Alzheimer's disease. Now, very important, some studies have shown that people who take part in music or musicians, they live long lives. They live into their 90s and they live healthy lives with their brains intact. So maybe there is something in that. We don't know yet, but perhaps that would be a method to delay the onset of the disease.
So the only message we can give is look after them as well as you can, as best as you can, because it's a very expensive disease, I can call it, because if you're going to medicate, the cost is quite a lot. Plus, there is a time when you require help in the house. Help is not easy to get. You get help at a very great cost.
Oh, really, it is very, you have to have lot of patience with them, lot of patience, and at the same time not to leave them alone, but to accompany them and to give them strength so that they can feel that really you are with them.
You see, the first thing is that you have to accept. There are a lot of people who don't accept the home people. No, she's not suffering from this. At this age, how can somebody get this and that? If you don't accept, then you will not be able to give the necessary care. Once you accept, then you are alive to that. Take her for an outing. She may appreciate it or she may not. She may be in a good mood, she may not. Ask her to get into the car. If you help her, she'll get on. At times, she may not be in a mood to get in. You have to live with that. You have to be all the time looking to her with a view to helping her or talking to her even if she doesn't understand you, or having some sort of interaction or recreation with her, cracking some jokes. If it really sinks into her, she will appreciate it. If it doesn't, you ask her a question, she may give you a different answer. But you must be alive to her illness and live with it.
I mean, because you have to be continuously putting your mind into their minds and then trying to give an answer, a response to whatever the situation they are in that moment.
त्यांना समजून घेणं आणि त्यांना आपण समजावून सांगणं, या दोन गोष्टी बेसिकली आपल्याला करायला लागतात.
कि हमारे पिताजी तो इसलिए उनके जो चिढ़ना है वो हमको बुरा बोल देते हैं तो भी बर्दाश्त कर लेते हैं हम लोग. तो कितना भी हमारे पिताजी और जो भी है उनको करना है, उनकी खिदमत करना है तो हमारा काम है, क्योंकि उन्होंने हमारे को बचपन से लेके तो यहाँ तक उन लोगों ने ये किए, तो अभी हमारा फर्ज बनता है कि उनकी खिदमत हमने करना है.
First thing, you have to make the Alzheimer patient realize that they need not worry. You are there for them and you love them and you want them. Don't make them realize that they are a burden on you, and then they'll feel all the more confused and unsettled. So first thing is to diagnose the problem. You understand that the problem is there, and I think if you handle the problem, it becomes easier for them and for you. And understand one thing, they are your parents or whatever your near and dear ones, and the problem is there and you just handle it. Don't run away from the problem.
You require to be very strong in mind that I am going to look after my parents because they did so much for me. And just because she is so sick, I can't abandon her. She didn't abandon me when I went through all my traumas as a teenager. So we require to look at it with much more fortitude than people show. Even after she passed away, continuously I asked myself, did I do everything for her? After all, she was my mother and it was my responsibility to look after her. If everybody takes on this whole disease in this fashion, then it will be much easier for everybody, the patient as well as the caregivers.
Mind and body are inseparable parts of human organism. A healthy body will keep your mind alert, and an active mind will help to keep itself young and sharp. For the mind or for the body, mantra is use it or lose it.